A very common topic in American politics today is climate change. Climate change changes the Earth's weather patterns, causing things like increased number of hurricanes and higher temperatures. Climate change can drastically take the conditions that the world has become accustomed to and twist and shape it in ways that we may not be able to overcome. What causes climate change? And who is responsible to stop it? Well, they have the same answer. Us. The global epidemic began with the heavy usage of modern conveniences that man has created, such as cars and gas power. Nowadays, people are trying to cut down on these environmentally harmful accessories. However, once today's advocates of change are long gone, who will be there to carry the fire? Why, the next generation. They will be the ones to follow in the footsteps and expand on the accomplishments of the previous advocates. If there is no one who knows or cares about climate change, then, well, I think you know what will happen. The next generation must learn about the wave of destruction and do everything they can to make sure it doesn't crash on the beach that is human life. Though they will be faced against those with opposite beliefs and tagged with negative stereotypes, the next generation must stay strong and show the world that if we don't do something, we will be faced with a natural holocaust. The Brotherized Global Action Team in Michigan thought of all the possible ways they could spread the message of global stewardship. Suddenly, they came up with an idea that could help teach young people about climate change in an interesting way. Many months ago, the team took a trip to New York to participate in the United Nations Global Summit, where they learned about the organization 350. Upon checking out their website, they found out about a film company called Wild and Scenic, known for producing films about both climate change and poverty. Since their films appealed to both sides of the resolution, they figured that it would be a good way for young people to know about this issue. This idea had never been done before, since the Wild and Scenic films have never seen the light of day in Michigan, and that it was the first Wild and Scenic Film Festival ever held by a high school. The target audience the team was going for were children who lived in Detroit and Flint, two cities notorious for their impoverished areas and overall questionable living conditions. So after reviewing the trailers for some of Wild and Scenic's movies, they bought the rights to the ones they wanted using money donated to them by Miller Canfield Law Firm and were ready to roll. But before they could hold this informative film festival, they would have to find a theater to show them in. The first choice was at the Maple Art Theater in Bloomfield Hills. Though they laid their deal out with the manager, the deal simply didn't pull through. The manager just so happened to be the co-owner of the Burton Theater in Detroit and offered us to use that theater instead. It resembled an old AMC theater, and it had enough seats to fill in the kids we were sending down. It was exactly what we needed for the event. December 1st, 2009. A massive group of inner-city school kids entered the theater, none of them knowing what to expect from this, and none of them knowing that this would become the first step to a better future.
They have these global debates, and they encourage the youth to come together to create solutions to global problems. And these issues really primarily deal with environmental issues. And so while at the Youth Leadership Summit last year, which is where they take winning schools that actually win this competition and we go to the UN, we were introduced to the 350 organization. And their goal is to bring down atmospheric carbon levels to 350 million parts per million. And here, this is where we got introduced to the Wild and Scenic Film Festival. And so we got really excited about this idea and really got excited when we realized that Metro Detroit never had this film festival, which is the largest environmental film festival in the country. So we jumped on the opportunity and we are really happy to bring it down here. So in this film, or in these series of films, you'll learn about all kinds of things from environmental destruction to what you...
Entire ecosystem. They need space, and that's what this Freedom to Roam is all about. Patagonia is going to be the catalyst for bringing together many, many environmental organizations, government entities, private corporations, to all work together in creating these corridors all over North America. One of the things we can all do is support these environmental organizations that are going to be trying to connect all of these wild areas from Panama to Alaska.
It's led to what could be the largest environmental lawsuit in history. The suit claims there has been significant damage to Ecuador's natural resources and its people.
You're talking about an area roughly the size of the state of Rhode Island where the ecosystem is contaminated, meaning you can't get clean water from natural water sources. The air is polluted and people are exposed either by breathing or eating food or drinking water to poison. And there's no way they can escape.
What we are seeing here is one of almost 1,000 pits that Texaco just left here in the northern region of the Ecuadorian Amazon. It contains tons of contaminated waste and oil residue that has been here for more than 20 years.
The damage that Texaco has done is not limited to this pit. It covers an enormous amount of land that the water continues to contaminate to this day. The pipe coming out of this pit is 30 years old and is rusted, so the water continues to seep out. And as you can see, it's not only water, it's oil. All of this waste continues to traverse the streams and the river.
Given the fact that the kids were audibly reacting to the movies, the team knew that their goal to educate them was working. But what the kids didn't know was that there was something special concerning one of the movies. It was called The Waterfront, a movie about the outrageous water bills in Highland Park. The action team actually got the film's producer, Curtis Smith, to appear at the event to talk about what the kids had learned from the film. Unfortunately, he was running late, so Highland Park Councilman Mr. Woodard introduced the film in his place.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning. The city of Highland Park, where there's a tremendous problem. The city had been recently placed in a financial emergency where the local mayor and council had no power to correct anything. Therefore, a financial manager was appointed. The manager tried to privatize the water system. And just so that you know, and I'm going to stop after this comment, in southeastern Michigan, there's about 3 or 4 municipalities that purify their own water. Of course, we know Detroit does. Detroit supplies almost 2/3 of the state. Highland Park also purifies its own water. At one time, we used to purify 50 million gallons of water per day for our residents. Today, we only do about 6 million. So this is about water, the cost of water, and people losing their homes because they could not pay their bills. Things are kind of straight right now, but I'll answer any questions that you might have afterwards. And thank you for your time.
Eventually, Curtis did show up to the film festival and was ready to speak to the children.
Michigan Collegiate Middle School. Well, I want to say welcome. Now, by a show of hands, does anyone live in Highland Park? How many parkers we got? Okay, 1, 2. All right, we got the Mr. Woodard, Highland Park City Councilman, who took time out of his busy day to make sure he came here with you. So, I am the producer of this film, and I'm so glad you saw it because many of you perhaps aren't aware that there is a major water crisis about to unfold. How many of you remember when the gas prices went real high? And who remembers how high it went to about? $4 a gallon. And when gas prices go up real high, what do? What happened in your household as the gas prices went up?
We won't.
You start going places, right? You change your activities. And did it become expensive to fill a gas tank up? And if you had a real big car, were folks upset? Yeah, because it would cost $100 to fill your car up. Well, the same thing's about to happen with water. Now, the difference with water and gas is when the water bills go up, there's not much you can do to change.
No.
Because do you need water?
Yes.
What do you use water for? Wash, cooking, cleaning what? Yourself, clothes, what else? House. Okay. Use the bathroom. Now listen up. If you don't have water, you're in a whole lot of trouble. And you know why is water so precious? Let me hear it. You need it, right? Why is also water so precious? In the back. You can't live without water, yeah?
Good. You need to regulate your body.
You need it in your body. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Hold on, one at a time. That's what I heard too. Yeah? Stand up. Say it again.
This is not renewable.
Well, he said it's that's close. He said it's non-renewable. I mean, to some degree, it is.
It's a renewable resource.
I mean, I think what he wanted to say was, and I'll give him, there is no substitute for water. There is no, you can substitute fuel. If you don't have gasoline, you can get ethanol, you can use batteries, but you know what? Water is precious because there is no substitute. And you gotta have it to live.